JohnMichael.com. Right after the farm markets, we're going to deal with a guy who wants to start a fencing club. Really? Right here in Iowa. One of my favorite movies of all time has to be Princess Bride. That is a movie that will endure forever. And one of the best scenes in this movie is two guys fighting. They're doing a sword fight on the top of a mountaintop, and it sounded something like this.
You're using Bonetti's defense against me, huh?
I thought it fitting, considering the rocky terrain.
Naturally. You must expect me to attack with Capafero.
Naturally. But I find that Tibble cancels out Capafero. Don't you?
Unless the enemy has a study, he's a gripper. Which I have. You are wonderful.
Thank you. I've worked hard to become so.
I admitted you are better than I am.
Then why are you smiling?
Because I know something you don't know.
And what is that?
I am not left-handed.
Oh, there's something I ought to tell you.
Tell me. I'm not left-handed either.
Kill me quickly.
I will soon destroy a stained glass window as an artist like yourself. However, since I can't have you following me either.
So, Jean-Michael Van Wyck? Is that how I pronounce that?
That's perfect.
So you can explain to me, what are those different schools of thought in fencing and the different tactics?
Well, I would start out by saying I don't think you can be a true fencer without loving that movie. Something you can just kind of watch over and over again.
Absolutely. So you want to bring this sport and elevate its presence a lot bigger than most of us would imagine. If I said, oh, I watched that movie, gee, I'd like to go study fencing. Is that even possible in Iowa?
Yes, of course. And actually, once I get this club up and running here in Sully, we'll represent the 7th club in Iowa. There's the Des Moines Fencing Club in Des Moines, of course. A new club started in January of this year called Red Door Fencing. They're also in East Village.
Okay.
Iowa State University has a club. The University of Iowa has a club.
Really?
Iowa City has a second club called the Iowa City Fencing Center, and Sioux City has a fencing club as well.
Wow, you'd like to make this maybe even a high school or middle school sport?
Yeah, I've met with the principals of the middle schools and high schools of the Newton, Grinnell, Pella areas, and got a flyer out there and basically just trying to get the word out there so that people can know that it is an option. And we're going to be holding a Q&A here in town on the 23rd to kind of answer any questions that any parents or prospective students. I mean, it's not just students; it's adults as well. I mean, I got into it when I was 30, so.
Why?
Not any kind of age limit.
Why does a guy with a Dutch name get involved with fencing in Iowa?
Well, I used to be in Taekwondo, and I injured my knee for the 3rd time. It was my pivot leg, and so I thought I need to find a sport that's more linear. I had a friend that was in the Des Moines Fencing Club, and he invited me, and I checked it out and thought this is really awesome.
All right, so I'm imagining like a hockey. Hockey is a fun sport. Everybody can relate to it, but it is extremely expensive at the club level. You have all that equipment to buy. You have to rent ice and arena time. If you do any traveling, that's expensive. And the cost of hockey is extremely prohibitive for a lot of folks. What about fencing? How much does it cost for a practice foil?
Well, if you're talking about somebody who's starting a club, it can be expensive because you want to have club equipment. Right. It depends on the level of experience you want to provide. If you want to have grounded fencing strips like they have in the Olympics, those can run as much as $5,000 a strip. Typically what you might experience in the Iowa club is you might not see grounded strips. I know Iowa City Fencing Center does have grounded strips.
I'm not sure what that is. Explain that to me.
Well, essentially, we have electronic scoring. And so the tip of your weapon.
Okay. All right.
When you touch somebody, having a grounded strip means you won't get. If your weapon hits the floor, it won't register as a touch on your opponent. So that's one of the things that adds to the cost. But yeah, for somebody just wanting to go to a club and fence, I mean, you can pick up all the gear that you need for under $180, depending on what level of gear you want to buy. I mean, obviously there's the Ford version and there's the Lamborghini version. It depends on what you want to do.
Every kid who ever sees a cartoon or a movie where there's sword play instantly starts picking up sticks and starts to do this stuff. And you mentioned Taekwondo a few moments ago. You start teaching Taekwondo when the kids are 5 and 6 years old. Mm-hmm. So would that be the time to start teaching the skill of fencing?
That's a fact. The USFA, which is the governing body for fencing in the United States, United States Fencing Association, they allow kids to start fencing in tournaments at age 8. So typically, clubs will allow children to start fencing around age 7.
Okay. That
way, when they turn 8, they've got some skill and they can go to tournaments. And so that's really what our target demographic is, ages 7 and up. And really, when I say up, I mean up as to senior citizens. I mean, fencing is one of those sports where, really it's about skill. It's more like chess than it is like, how physically agile are you. Although, physical agility is, of course, very important. And the more in shape you are, the better fencer you'll be. But there's a lot of tactics to it. And really, depending on which weapon you go into, it really it's a great equalizer. It doesn't really give you an advantage being a man over being a woman, and a lot of tournaments are just mixed. And
are you pretty good at it?
I'm okay. I'm better than some and not as good as others. I mean,
Did you wish you had started this earlier? I mean, it's just like most things, you get a passion and you say, man, I wish I'd started that a long time ago.
Well, absolutely. I mean, I just didn't know it was an option until my friend who happened to be doing it mentioned it to me. And so really starting the club here in Sully is, about trying to proliferate the sport and get people to know that it exists.
Well, I remember when soccer really started to come on strong here in Iowa, the biggest problem wasn't finding willing players. It was finding qualified coaches. Who can do this?
Well, I've got a couple friends from the Des Moines area that have been involved with Des Moines Fencing Club, and they're willing to make the trip up to Sully and help me out. So far I've got a foil coach and a saber coach, and I'm still looking for an FA coach. But
what's that?
Everybody starts out. Well, the 3 different weapons. You've got foil, which is considered the train weapon,
right?
And your target area is the torso, and you wear what's called a lame that registers a touch.
Right.
And then you've got épée, which is more like traditional rapier or a small sword from Europe.
Okay.
And with that, the target area is the entire body, so you don't wear any kind of special conductive stuff. And then there's saber, which is more of a slashing weapon, and that target area, you wear a lame, and everything above the waist is a target. It's a cavalry weapon. So
I need to take a short time out here. This is John Michael Van Wyck. He is owns the winery in Sully, and he's also determined that he's going to turn one of his passions into a club and see if he can expand this statewide for middle school and high school kids. I find it fascinating. If I had a chance to try this, I think it'd be kind of cool. If you have any quick questions, join us. 284-1040 or 800-469-4295 in a moment. We just have a few moments remaining with John Michael Van Wyck. He is a fellow who's advocating for fencing being added to Iowa and maybe even Iowa schools as team sports. Give us the who, what, where, and when, and what you're trying to accomplish and where people should go in Sully and where.
Well, we named it the Diamond Trail Fencing Club, and we have a website, diamondtrailfencing.com. And, of course, we can also be found on Facebook. But if you go to our website, everything else can be found there, phone numbers, email addresses, and such.
Well, thank you for tantalizing our imagination about another sport here in Iowa. It's always a useful thing, John. Thank you so much, sir. Appreciate it.
Yeah, thank you for having me.
You bet. It's Facebook.com, diamondtrailfencing.com.